Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube. Fan debates, live watch-alongs, post-match reactions, and all the Foxes banter you could ask for. Subscribe now and see the game through Blue Tinted Glasses.
Just into race clear. He's got Jamie Vardy with him. Jamie Vardy sets off. Jamie Vardy! Back here for Tarwood. Oh, he scored! An absolute belter! That is trademark Abdul for Tarwood.
This one into the box. Nugent over the top. Oh, what a goal! David Nugent's just scored a beauty. He's made Forest look like fools.
Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Good evening and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. It is Monday night, which means... I just need to readjust that a little bit, I think. There we go. It's Monday night, which means it's time for the live fans call-in show. Your chance to basically come on and say whatever you want, talk about whatever you want. And, well, relating to Leicester City, I'm sure we talk about a couple of the bits as well. But, yeah, the link is in the description of the video. It is also in the live chat as well. There, that's what it looks like. So just click that link in the description and come and have your say. Come and have a chat with us about literally anything you want. We've got a few callers already waiting in the background. So I'm looking forward to speaking to them guys. And yeah, the title of the video today is Trust the Process. I'm just intrigued as to whether anybody in the chat, any of our callers, doesn't trust the process. Now, I have an open challenge, an open invitation. Anybody watching this video that is Marty out, please call up so I can tell you how much of a pillock you are. No, I'm joking. But no, please, I actually want anybody who is Marty out to call in. I beg you, please, call in and come and have the debate. Come and have the chat. Because after the game on Saturday, there was a lot of people, not a lot, but there were a few people in the chat saying Marty out. So I want to have a chat with you. I think all of the callers already queuing are Marty in, of course, because they're smart people. But yeah, we'll talk about it. So please, please, please call in, especially if you are Marty out. I want to chat with you. Now, let's see who's here before we get into our first caller. That is going to be Ethan. And then it's Daz. And then it's Ryan. They're the first three. So get ready, people. But Ethan first. Let's see who's here. Azola, hello to you. Hope you're doing well. Peach, Reese is queuing as well. We ain't seen Reese in a while. Lovely stuff. We'll get Reese in as well. Evening all. Another Monday. Another draw to talk about. Boggy says, evening all. I still trust the process. Azola, I trust the process until the end of the season. Can't believe people are calling for Marty out. We're not Forest, you know. I've seen Reese call in, so I want to know if Reese is Marty out. Did he only call in because I said I want people who are Marty out to call in? Reese, let me know if you're Marty out or not, because if you are, I'm pushing you forward a little bit. Right, first up is going to be Ethan, all the way from South Africa. So here let me press this first, actually. Let's do that. And yeah, there we go. Let's do that. Okay, here he is. Ethan, mate, what's going on?
I'm good and you. Yeah, it's been raining the whole day by me. Now there's fireworks. Too much going on.
Yeah, mate, I'm hearing fireworks non-stop. They were going on last night until 1 a.m.
Yeah.
However, I think it is Diwali, I think it is actually the holiday. So yeah, right, fans getting frustrated fast. Yeah, look, I understand frustration. I've been there. Ethan, talk to me, mate. Let's get straight into it. Another draw for Leicester. That's 5 draws in 6 games. We are unbeaten in 8 though. How you feeling first of all after the game?
Look, I think it doesn't look so bad, right? A point, but taking into context everything that happened, you're dropping 2 points at home. You know, you had such a dominating first 45. To come away with only a point is really disappointing, especially, you know, I think when you look at the first half stats, especially how on top of things we were. Very disappointing start to the second half, and then to not close it out at the end is especially disappointing.
Yeah, mate. I totally agree. Like, of course, we're Leicester fans, right? So when you drop points in a game that you think we should get the 3 points, it is frustrating. But let me ask you the juicy question: What are you thinking? Because I'm seeing people say Marty out, mate. Like, what do you think to the people that are Marty out already?
I think it's still too early. I think everyone in the summer was saying, give him time. This is a rebuild. We'd be happy for a playoff spot. We're gonna struggle this season. So, I mean, we're struggling, and people are complaining. So it is a bit confusing for me why people are complaining so much when you had this sort of expectation at the start. When you look at the games on an individual basis, I feel the frustration because we are playing above expectations realistically. But yeah, I think it's stupid for people to say Marty out already. I think I would have preferred Danny Roll. I think his style is more suited to the Prem if we got promoted. But I think Marty is someone that's adaptable. He's pragmatic. So you have to back him. I don't think he's done necessarily anything wrong. My sort of opinion is he sort of sacrificed Winks and Fast and these guys at the start, and we thought okay, cool. He's gonna sacrifice these players to build a new team. The window's ended, and he's brought these players back in, and results haven't really improved. So I can see the sort of disgruntlement in the fan base. I'd prefer some other players playing. I think Aluko, Page, Evans, Monga, Nelson, all should be given opportunities. This is a real chance to build for the future. So I think after January, you can really start to see now, is Marty the right guy or not? But there's still a lot of football to be played, so I think it's way too early to be Marty out.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what some of the people here are saying. So fans that want Marty out, what were your expectations at the start of the season? This is the thing, Scott. A lot of the people who I see saying Marty out predicted us to be like 10th. It's like, and we're 4th. What are you talking about, man? This club needs some continuity. 5 gaffers in 4 seasons. That cannot continue. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to become the Watford. The new Watford. Richard says, why do the players always get a free pass? They didn't come out for the second half again. Back the manager, let him have a couple windows to rebuild. We're all frustrated when we draw from a winning position, but Marty needs time to develop the team, move players on. This is a time similar to Pearson's first time here. I would agree with you there, Richard, mate. Good comment. Yeah, and there's one question here I want to ask you about. What did you make to the substitutions on Saturday, Ethan? Because Boggy says, I am Marty in. However, Saturday was the first time I was like, what are these subs? Carranza and Ramsey worked so well, and to sub both off was crazy for me. I mean, I was going to say in response to that myself, Ethan, was, we don't know how tired they were. We don't know if the plan was for them to always if the plan was always for them to only play a certain amount of minutes, which quite usually is the case in football, right? If you're not 100%, there's kind of a pre-decided amount of time that they play for, and if your problem is who came onto the pitch, well, who do you want instead, right? Because we had Daka, Bobby Reed, Ayew. That was it in the 4 positions, right? They were the only. You had Silko Thomas as well. So, what did you think of the substitutions on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's always difficult after an international break, right? I think some of these players obviously been away. Ramsey and Carranza in particular haven't had much game time with us, so it's understandable that they don't play the full match. But yeah, if you look at the bench, what is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to bring on? It's a bit disappointing Mavididi wasn't available. I think he could have made a difference. It's a bit disappointing that some of the younger guys also aren't coming onto the pitch. I think fans would be less concerned if it was like a Page or a Evans coming on. But it's just the situation at the club right now. I don't think we have really good players to start, and sort of in other positions to bring on off the bench. But the attack is somewhere where, You know, we said that we needed to strengthen in the summer, right? We said we needed a new striker, we needed another winger. We didn't trust Bobby Reed, so you know the options there are so limited right now. I don't blame him, but you have to look at the team as a whole, right? I think conceding the goal first of all is shambolic, and to not put away those chances in the first half as well. You know, it's a whole different game.
Yeah, I totally agree. Ethan, mate, thank you for calling in as always. Much appreciated. We'll see you very, very soon, mate. Maybe Wednesday. We'll see.
I'll be there.
There we go. We'll see him Wednesday. Right. Cheers, Ethan, mate. All the best. There we go. Right. Also, this was one as well. Happy birthday to Claudio Ranieri. And another thing, anybody who wants to talk about this is a feisty one. This is a juicy one. Whoever wants to talk about BC game, bring it. Feel free. I'm up for a conversation about that as well tonight. Whoever's got a prop. I mean, again, it's kind of, I'm just looking for someone to argue with, I think. But yeah, let me know if you want to talk about that. Right, Daz is up next. Just quickly before we bring Daz on, I told my mate at the game when the subs were made, they will get booed. Some people just don't understand football. At the time, we were getting overrun. This is the prop. This is where I am at, Richard. I don't know. How can you watch the first 20 minutes of the second half and go, yeah, I think we should stay the same. Yeah, I think we should keep it exactly how it is. No, like we were getting spanked by Portsmouth, and we needed to make a change, and he did it. And again, that then brings the follow-up question: who did you want on instead of Ayew and Bobby Reed? Did you want on Caleb Okoli to play up front? I don't know. What did you want? Right, we're going to move on now to Daz. Here he is. Good to see you, mate. Been a while. What's going on?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. You? How you been?
All good, mate. All good. How you feeling, then, mate? I'll ask you again. How are you feeling after the fifth draw in 6 games?
Performance-wise, I guess it be expected. We're undefeated. I'd rather be undefeated than losing games when we were with Enzo, losing at Plymouth Argyle at Millwall. Those games where we just didn't look in the game. We're not getting spanked, which is another good thing. We're not losing by a lot of goals. We're not actually very leaky. It's more the other end. That's the problem. We're not clinical enough. We are creating chances, I guess, but just not enough for me. I think it's a bit lacklustre. But I am Marty in. I think it's stupid that people are saying Marty out at this point. I mean, Locks, you'll know as well as I do. The bloke bloody paid basically to be here. What more do you want? We've asked for a manager that's got passion and that cares about the fan base and is joining in the community and all these things. We've got it. It's just down to the players. I think the system's working, but I don't know, man. I think our squad depth isn't as good as it should be, really. That's my personal opinion. I think we've got, square pegs for round holes. What's your what's your take on it?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that when we talk about depth, I think more that the profile of player on our bench is just not what we need, because if you're on paper, Jordan Ayew, Bobby D. Cordova-Reid, Patson Daka even to a degree, they are 3 players who are on paper good at championship level. They should be good championship players. But the problem is, I think all 3 of them, I said this on yesterday, all 3 of them, they're more the players, they're kind of more types of players you want to bring on to see out a game rather than chase a game. Because I feel like, if you're 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go, you bring on Ayew because he sticks his fat bum out and wins fouls. You bring on Daka because he runs around like a headless chicken and, pressing and all of that. And D. Cordova-Reid, he's not too physical. He's not too physical. He's not quick, but he's smart and he's decent on the ball and he's smart and he, the IQ's there to kind of help see out a game. And I suppose it would have been different, right, if Mavididi was fit, because you'd have one of Mavididi or Monga coming off the bench to try and create something and get a goal, and that's and we didn't have him, and because of injury, and so we've got 3 players coming off the bench who I just think are good players, but other than Daka, good players, but just probably aren't the spark you need to try and win a game. I think that's what the problem is there. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel. I mean, there's a comment here from Tony. The process won't happen if we don't solve the striker crisis. Based on first 10 games, won't score 10 between them. Who do you think is the best option at the moment, Daz, to start up front? Because I think it is, without a question, Jordan Ayew. I stand by it. I think it's Jordan Ayew.
I can't argue with it, and I think that's the depressing factor. Is as much as Ayew is Premier League proven and all these words that we like to throw around, like Steve Cooper lovers, the Premier League proven stuff. As much as I was somewhat happy that Leicester City had parted ways with Jamie Vardy just for the financial aspect of it, my God, I'd rip his arm off and hit him with a soggy end, quite frankly, to have him back. It's a dire strait of what we are. I think I was just going to say to you that the fact that we've lost Keane and Dewsbury Hall, the fact that we've lost Jamie Vardy, which combined was over 35 goals when we were in the Championship last season, the closest replacement we've got is your mate, Jordan James, who, by the way, I think is a fucking phenomenal player. He's absolutely phenomenal, and we need to sign him permanently if we've got that option. But
Hold on, Daz.
Yeah.
Hold on, Daz.
Yes,
Jordan James mentioned.
He's perfect, mate. He's phenomenal. But the thing is, the only good thing I have seen today, which does give me a glimmer of hope, and the last comment that I've just seen in the chat has just reminded me of it from RY there in the chat, is Jake Evans has just signed a professional contract. So he's too young for me. He's a bit too inexperienced. Maybe see him sniff around there, because we do have Jeremy Monger on the wing. We do have who's the other chap that's Silko Thomas,
Yeah,
who's also on there. Maybe have him sniff around the first team if Carranza's clearly not that guy, which is utterly disappointing because they've done that many PR statements around him. We all thought he was the second coming of Messi by the amount of PR stunts they were doing, but I just don't think he's the right guy. So no, to answer your question, mate, I think Ayew is our best striker, which is depressing within itself.
Well, that's it, innit? Yeah, that's it. Like, we don't want to have to say that, but I'm sorry, but like Jordan Ayew, I think he is the best option at the moment that we have, and it's worrying, it's concerning. I mean, Niraj said here Monger shouldn't start. I think with Monger, what's been quite clear is that he's made more of an impact off the bench, Daz. But again, I said this yesterday. That's like with any winger, because you're coming off the bench into an environment where your fullbacks played 60 minutes, 60, 70 minutes. So you've got an advantage over them already, right, with the fresh legs. But for me, Daz, like I think Monger should be starting over Mavididi. And I think he definitely should be starting over Bobby Reid. But I suppose, well, now we know Bobby Reid got a hamstring injury with 15 minutes to go on Saturday, and Mavididi's injured, so there's no option, is there? Monger has to start, unless you play Silko Thomas there. But why would you play Silko Thomas over Monger? It doesn't make sense.
No, I'm in full agreement with you. I mean, the thing is, for me, what frustrates me is Mavididi, I think... I can't remember if it was you or somebody else that was on your channel. It's definitely on your channel because I don't watch any other channels. Plug. It's got to be Monger that starts, because I think the best of Mavididi we've seen, quite frankly. I love the banter, I love the passion, but I just think that, while Jeremy Monger's not actually scoring the goals, well, neither's Mavididi at the minute, and Jeremy Monger's got the ability to drag multiple players on him, which then actually makes space for other players in the centre pitch, the midfield, to actually make an impact. Whereas if you've got a Mavididi who's running, stopping and passing back and trying to take his man on, it's not as informative. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's got to be Monger to start, irrespective of whether that. And Bobby Deckled over Reid having an injury, for me, I kind of was seeing him as more of a 10, quite frankly. So, I mean, if he's injured, he's injured. I guess it's a bit of a depressive side of things, but we've got Ramsey and the other chap, Lewis Page, to come in. So it's one of them, mate. I think Marty needs more time. I think he's done as well. Look at Ipswich and Southampton. That's all I'm going to say. Ipswich and Southampton have absolutely, Southampton especially, have stunk the place out. They've had this new manager that's come in, Will Still, who everybody was ranting and raving about, me included, by the way. Kieran McKenna's not really lost too many things, and they're faltering. They've not had an unbelievable start. Coventry smashing it. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think the only thing that's going to kick us up the dick is points deduction. If I've got to be honest, if we do get one, it's really good. These draws are going to come back and bite us on the arse.
Yeah.
That's my
I'd
only
agree,
thing.
mate. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, whenever I talk about where I think Leicester are going to finish, it's always caveated with, well, how many points are we going to get? Like, you just can't, you can't really predict where we're going to finish until you know how many points we're going to get as a doctor, you know. So, yeah, it's frustrating. Buzz, I don't think he's cycling. I think he's just given each one a chance. I mean, Daka had 2 games. I think Carranza might get one more start. Maybe. Yeah. It depends what he's like. I mean, it's a 2-day turnaround tomorrow, isn't it? So maybe Daka will come back in. Maybe Aya will come in just to rest Carranza. But I think either this game tomorrow or the weekend, I think Carranza will get another start. And then you've got to assess then who did the best out of the 3. And I'd probably say it was Ayew, to be honest with you. Although Daka did get an assist in the Wrexham game, which he took quite well, I suppose. But I just don't think I can handle watching Daka.
No, right. For me, Patson Daka should not start another game for a Leicester City shirt. His contract ends at the end of this season. He should come on as an impact substitution, or if we need to do something to maybe try and get a goal back and stick him on the wing and be out for pace or something. He can't do anything with linking up play. He just needs to drag defenders away from other players, in my opinion. The debate is if Carranza can take his opportunity and actually show some of the form that he was displaying in the MLS. If he can score a couple of goals, and even just like a couple of half chances, you know, not like taking a terrible touch like he did the other game, and it was horrific. You know, if he can actually get a shot on target and actually put the ball in the back of the net, or get an assist, just have a good impact game, which I think hopefully should come with time. I mean, I'm not written him off yet. I just think it's been a very slow start. You know, players like Ramsey have announced themselves. Players like, you know, obviously Jordan James has announced themselves. So I think Carranza, we did hear that though from Marty, if I'm not mistaken, that he did say it might take him quite a while to adapt, which is fine. But yeah, I like you say, I think, I don't know. I think it's not a big sample size for Carranza just yet, but I'm not holding out hope. But hey, look, I'm happy to be proven wrong. But
yeah. No, I'd agree, mate. I'd agree. Right, Daz, thanks for calling, mate. Much appreciated. We'll see you very soon, mate. All the best. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay. Right, let's have a look. So, we have... where's that just gone? That was weird. Right. Reese. No, what am I talking about? Ryan, Reese, Greek Fox in the Box, Mark. That's the order we're going with. So, up next, we have... Ryan, there we go. Ryan, what's going on, mate? Nice. Hello, mate. What's up behind you?
You know who it is.
Yes, man, Mr. Bean. Go on, tell us why you've got that. Say again.
Yeah, that's who I think will be the next Forest manager. I think. The state of things are going to Forest. Hey.
They're in a right mess, aren't they, mate? Marinakis sacking Nuno because of politics, basically, off the pitch politics, and then Ange, what a disaster that was as well.
That's his assistant right there.
Well, if you believe all the journalists this evening, it's Sean Dyche. So that's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what Sean Dyche. I mean, Peaches here, a Forest fan. If we hadn't appointed Dyche, I'd have taken Mr. Bean. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, dear. Yeah,
talk to me then, Ryan. How are you feeling after the game, mate, on Saturday?
I'll have to say I was a little bit frustrated because after how we played first half, I thought we'll go and build on that. Not, I thought we would, but unfortunately, it was copy and paste from the Wrexham game where we just seemed to drop off and let Portsmouth have a bit more control of the game. I think what I did see a change from the first half to the second half. I think Portsmouth, sort of sat off and gave us a little bit too much respect, I think. And I think second half, I think they started to close us down more and not allow us to have much time on the ball. And it forced us into mistakes. And I think that was the one change I did see. So overall, it was disappointing again and it was frustrating. But I think overall, where we are at the minute, it's not too bad.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, mate. I mean, we're fourth place, right? We're fourth place, and as I said, a lot of people predicted Leicester to finish. Well, not to finish as such, but to have a tougher start to the season than we did 2 years ago under Enzo Maresca. Again, when I say about predicting, yes, a lot of people predicted us to finish kind of playoffs, and some predicted outside of the playoffs, and some predicted a car crash season, and there were a few that even said relegation to League One, whatever, right? But I think fourth place after 10 games played, when you look at other relegated teams like Ipswich and Southampton, and then even another parachute team, Sheffield United, who have struggled.
I think we're in a good position, considering.
Yeah, I think we're in a very good starting position. Like, of course, take any points deduction out of it. If there was no deduction, Ryan, yes, we would all kind of expect, I think, Leicester to finish top 2, and I think that is still going to be the case without the deduction. Without. When there's a deduction, that changes everything. But on the pitch, I think we'll get enough points to be right up there, mate.
Yeah, I think so. But even though I did say there were going to be bumps in the road, and these kind of games, you're going to expect that. I think Graham pointed this out when you had him on. This championship is never going to be straightforward. It was going to be very, very competitive. That's why I said at the start of the season we were not going to steamroller this league. And I think for me, I think if we finished in the playoff position, even with the points deduction, I'll be satisfied with it.
Yeah, I'd agree, mate. I'd agree. I mean, Scott says here, I think we are in a great position. I genuinely believe, depending on if we get 1 or 2 sets of points deducted, coming mid-table could still be on the cards. I mean, if we got 2, Scott, I would agree with you. But I think come the end of the season, I think regardless of points deduction, I think we're going to finish top 6. Even if we get a deduction, I think we will finish top 6. I actually think if there is no deduction, I still think we'll finish top 2. I think we'll go up automatically in second place. Coventry are running away with it at the moment, so we'll see what happens there if they blow up a little bit.
Scary.
They're scoring a lot of goals.
Away with it. Yeah. The next out result against Coventry looked more decent, actually. The fact we stopped them from scoring.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's true. But yeah, I don't know, mate. What are your thoughts? Let me ask you this, and everybody in the chat, please get involved now in the chat. And if you have an opinion on it, then call in. I'm putting the link again in the chat. If you have an opinion on this, call in. What do you think to BC game, Ryan? Talk to me.
I've got to say, regarding BC game, I don't have an issue with it. It's not ideal. I'm not normally into gambling sponsorships. I think there was a statement from the Foxes Trust saying that once someone actually died due to something gambling related addiction, something like that. I think. Yeah. That's why I wasn't completely comfortable with it, but it's just what it is, really. So I don't want to get involved in politics.
No, I don't blame you. I mean, I don't blame you at all. The Foxes Trust basically said after 78% of fans in the recent Foxes Trust survey deemed BC Game to be an unacceptable sponsor, we now find ourselves back in partnership with the same gambling company that has serious concerns regarding their legitimacy. For a long time, the club has outwardly promoted a family-friendly, inclusive image. However, decisions like this contradict that image and deepen fans' ongoing concerns about the club's active promotion of gambling. This is further emphasised by the fact that young fans will be forced to wear sponsor-free shirts that differ from those worn by their heroes on the pitch. We therefore, calling on the club to reconsider this sponsorship, we also urge fans who share these concerns to not purchase any shirt that features the logo. And then, yeah, I mean, you know, it's a big talking point at the minute. There's a lot of fans that are dead against the idea of a gambling sponsor. There are many fans that are actually just don't really care as well. I actually did a poll on Twitter the other day asking our followers what they thought to the news that BC Game was back in as a sponsor. And I'm just trying to find it here so I can quickly bring it up. Where is it? There we go. So I said, with the recent announcement of Leicester's partnership with BC Game, we are curious to see what people think on the sponsor situation. So the first option was take the money. And the second option was morals over money, basically saying do not take the money, do not partner with them. And the results of that poll was actually fairly close. Here you go. Morals over money did win with 54.5% of the vote. But it's quite close. I just think some people just don't really care too much. I mean, you know, one of the arguments that always comes up in this conversation is, well, they've had a beer sponsor on their sleeve for the last few years. You know, people also suffer with addiction from alcohol, you know, and Sky Bet, we play in the Sky Bet Championship, you know, whether there's a sleeve sponsor, whether there's a BC Game sponsor on the shirt or not, Sky Bet is plastered all over the stadium. In fact, every stadium in the championship, every single game. And, you know, it's the thing with, you know, how you will no longer be able to wear a gambling sponsor next season onwards, I believe. Yet you're playing in the Sky. The league is called a fucking gamble. You know what I mean? The league is Sky Bet. It's crazy to me. I just so yeah. And then on the other side, then Ryan as well. People moan about PSR, saying that why are we not? You know, where deals like this help PSR. You know, yes, it's not the reason we're in the mess with PSR. That's because the club are being mismanaged. That is totally the blame of the board, you know, how we've operated over the last couple of years. But, you know, if you want to get out of this hole a little bit, if you want to get out of this PSR problem a little bit, then this will help, you know, a big paycheck. Yeah. And as Ray says, Ryan, as long as the check clears, I'm good. BC Game, baby.
Yeah, I'm not, as I said earlier, I'm not particularly too fussed about it. I just don't want to get involved in politics and that kind of thing when it comes to gambling and that kind of thing. So it is what it is. To change the subject, about Marty Cifuentes, and you were saying there was calls of Martial, which I think is absolute pile of nonsense. And whoever those fans are need to get their heads a wobble, because it's a process. It's a rebuild. It was never, ever going to be straightforward. You've got to back the man. It's not going to be a magician or things were going to change with the match he won all of a sudden. It's going to be a slow rebuilding process. I keep saying this for goodness knows how many times. I'll keep doing it if they keep saying this kind of thing. So I totally trust Marty, and I think he'll change the fortunes around the club.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, I completely agree. I think he's the right man. I think he's the right man for the job. I think he gets it. I think he's great with the fans. You know, some people say it's all PR, it's all whatever, it's, you know, playing up to the cameras and stuff. But I just get that sense of, I just think he's genuine. You know, I mean, it feels genuine, the stuff he says. And, you know, like you said, I think this is the man I want to take us forward. And I think he can be that guy. I think he can be that guy.
Yeah, when he spoke after the Wrexham game, when we dropped points, he said that the players were too arrogant. he was absolutely bang on with it. And I'm pretty sure he would have felt the same way after Saturday's result. He didn't say it, though, at the time, but I think he pretty much would have felt the same way again. And he's thinking, why are we doing it? Why are the players doing this again? So I think for me, as I said, he's the right man, and he needs to be given time to turn things around.
Yeah, 100%. But box standard normal manager that we need. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like I don't think he's an exceptional manager, Marty. I'm not claiming he's the second coming of Christ. I actually think that is a fairly fair description of him. Like just a normal manager. I think that's more than fair, and I think I would agree that's what we need.
I think it is. It doesn't have to be spectacular or anything like that. It just needs to be a fairly normal type of manager. And I think he's definitely that type of person. I don't have a problem with it. So yeah. The last thing before I go, I'll reveal one more thing from the picture. Because I'll put up. Let's see if it uploads. There you go. There it is again.
He just needs to shave his head and he will look like Sean Dyche. Just needs to shave his head. And he wants, exactly.
Oh, dear.
There you go. Right, Ryan, thank you, mate, for calling. Much appreciated. We will see you very soon, mate. All the best. Cheers. Take care, Ryan. Right, we've got Reese coming up next. I'm looking forward to this one. We've not spoken to Reese in a long, long time since he told me Jakob was better than Mads, I think. Hey, no, Reese asking about the order. It's going to be sorry, not Reese. Ross asking about the order. It's Reese, Greek Fox on the box, Mark, Ross. There you go. Ross ending us off with a bang. He would communicate better than Ange. Leicester needs more than just a name or an identity. Marty is a good manager and good with the fans and players. The link between us. There you go. Right. Henry sounds like he's Marty out. Need Big Ange in. Get the deal in. He wouldn't be dropping points to Portsmouth. I hope you're joking about that. Right, here we go. Here is Reese. Hello, mate. What's going on?
How you doing, mate? Nice to see you.
All good, mate. All good. So, talk to me, Reese. How are you feeling about Marty Cifuentes at the moment?
I'm kind of on the fence a little bit. I won't lie, Locks. I do think that there are some things that he's done well. I do like some of the things he has done. But I think the thing for me is there's a couple of points here. So he pointed out that the players were arrogant after the Wrexham game.
Yeah.
But you're continuously picking the same players when you know that they've got that in that locker. When you've got kids on the bench like Ben Nelson, Badia Luca, you've got Caleb Okoli on there, and you keep picking the same arrogant players week in, week out. And then it was another showcase of that on Saturday. So I think that's not helped his case with me a little bit. Change it up then. If you feel like the players were arrogant, maybe change it up a little bit. I think another thing is the inconsistency with the consistency of the last three games. We go 1-0 up, looking very, very comfortable. And then we just can't seem to break teams down. And that's been quite evident for me in the first 10 games. Maybe that doesn't help that he's not got a great striker. I don't see Ayew as a striker. I've never seen Jordan Ayew as a striker. I've always seen him as a utility player. You've got Patson Daka, who's not scored a goal since 2024. And you've got Julian Carranza, who's just come in through the door, trying. So it's a bit I do feel sorry for him in terms of the fact that he's not had money to spend, but he has bought 5 players in as well. So I don't know. at the minute. I won't lie, Locks.
Well, all right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, he called the players arrogant after the Wrexham game. Mm-hmm. He then started the same players against Swansea and we won 3-1. So should he have switched it up should he have not played them players? I mean, he did change it. He did change it after the Swansea game. He brought in Carranza over Daka. And it was worse. It was worse. And I would say that he has used a lot of different players this season. I mean, we started the season with Samari and Skip. We don't even have, they're not even in the team now. You know, it's Jordan James and Harry Winks. And I would say, in response to the players he's brought in, so 2 of the goalkeepers, they've not played. The 2 midfielders he's brought in, I think one of them, Jordan James, has been excellent.
Yes.
You know, incredible.
Yeah.
And the other one, Aaron Ramsey, bozo moment getting sent off on his debut. But then I would say Saturday, very good. Scored a goal as well. And not just the goal, but the link-up play, especially in the first half, was brilliant. I would agree, like, the guy isn't untouchable, and he's made some errors 100%. And I would agree with Clibbo, which I think you referred to as well, Reese, that the system is flawed with these players. But I just, you know, the only one I really agree with you on is Ben Nelson, because I mean, Ivan said it here. He's thrown Belson under the bus, which is true, right? He had one game against Huddersfield. He had an awful game. It was awful. It was an awful performance from him. It was terrible, and he just hasn't come back in since. And surely, Reece, you've got to give him another chance. Surely.
I'd rather see players like that. Yes, they're going to make mistakes. Yes, they're young kids. But I'd rather see that than a 32-year-old centre-half in Yannick Vestergaard and an established international player in Wout Faes making the same mistakes week in, week out. We have seen it for the past 3 seasons at this club. Nothing will change. They've proven that a leopard never changes its spots locks. Yes, we'll go on to the Wout Faes thing against Swansea. Yes, wasn't a penalty. He didn't need to dive in, though. He doesn't need to dive in that position, and then you're giving the referee, whether it's a penalty or not, a decision to make. Luke Thomas, another one. I don't get what he's got on Marty Cifuentes. You've got, for me, in my opinion, an athletic, quick, fast player in Badialuko who has proven that he can play that inverted role. He's scoring goals in the under-23s, by the way. I think you're missing a trick there with him. If you want to utilise this system properly, get players that can do it. You need athletic fullbacks to play the system. Ricardo has been poor the past few games. I'm sure you'd agree, Locks. He has been poor. Yeah. Luke Thomas has been poor for how long now? 4 seasons now? And he's still being paid. And we gave him a 4-year contract. So I get what you say. I like the things that, you know, all going around the city, you know, coming around clapping the fans. I like him. I think he's a good guy. But there are mistakes that he's made that I just can't seem to get my head around at the minute in terms of the system.
But Reece, you said you don't want to see you'd rather see Nelson and Okoli over Faes and Vestergaard. But would you? Because they were both shit. Yeah. What if we play them and we lose? Fans will go, oh, this is unacceptable. Marty out. We're losing games. We should be winning. That's what will happen. Like, Faes and Vestergaard, they fuck me, man. They're bozos, the pair of them. But you cannot doubt for 1 minute, right? In the earlier games of the season, when Okoli and I think it was maybe Okoli and Vestergaard, for example, were playing, Faes would come off the bench, and instantly we looked more secure at the back. Like Faes was used as an impact. Faes was used coming off the bench in the opening few games, coming off the bench to try and shore up the defence and see out a game. And when he's doing that well, he's always going to start. I would agree with you, Reece, that after a bad performance, yes, then that's the time to give Nelson another chance, right? But mate, prior to him being dropped, Okoli for me was dog shit. He was so bad. One of the most disappointed, probably the most disappointed I have been this season was from what I saw of Okoli in those last couple of games before he was dropped. So when fans say, it's not just you, there's loads of people. When fans say, "Oh, I would rather see the 2 youngsters play at the back instead," I'm not sure you would if that meant a drop in points. I think if you started dropping more points or conceding more goals, I think fans would quickly say, "Oh, but this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. Oh, the manager needs to go."
We see it, Locks. We won't know.
We have seen it. We have seen it against Huddersfield. He was terrible, Nelson, and Okoli was dog shit. But
who was good against Huddersfield, though? I thought the whole team were poor against Huddersfield. I'm not I get what you're saying. I completely get what you're saying. But I'm not going to I'm not going to have a go at a young kid who's, Monga has done some, poor decisions, but we've he's 16, so we let him get away with it. Nelson's not, for me, been given a fair chance. I think as an overall package centre back, pace, athletic, good on the ball. I think we need to see a consistent. I think if you don't give him a consistent run in the team, maybe I wouldn't mind seeing Wout Faes and Ben Nelson. Because you got two quick centre backs there, but I don't care about Yannick Vestergaard being a great passing. I'm not arsed.
I love him, Reese. I love him. I love Yannick. I'm sorry, I love him.
I know you love Yannick. I know you do, but I'm not bothered about how he passes the ball. I'm on about how he is positional. What's his positional play like? What's his tackling like? What's his tracking back like? It's poor. That's just my opinion, though.
I think, look, I'm more with this, right? And
yes,
look, football's a funny game. Like, I feel like if we were 3-0 up against Portsmouth, and then that dodgy defending comes at the end, no one's talking about it as much. But
we weren't, though, were we?
No, that's not because we're struggling to score enough goals. Yeah. This is my point, right? So I just feel like if we were winning games 3-1 and there was a bit of dodgy defending, I don't think this big fuss about the defenders is being made. I just feel like 3 points and a couple of goals completely changes how people look at the game. And I can't remember what happened in the Swansea. How did Swansea score their goal? What was that like? Can you remember? I can't remember what happened.
Swansea, a penalty.
Yeah, who gave it away?
Wout Faes.
Okay, the fact I can't remember, Reese, right? For me, the fact I can't remember. But if we'd drawn the game, Reese, the game or lost, I would know. Faes, he's cost us that game. So my point is that I think if we were scoring more, this whole thing about the defence wouldn't be so, in the forefront of everybody's minds. I just think, Reese, the defence is the least of our problems at the minute. I think the attacking, and that is down to Marty. Like, we need to score more goals because there's not really any other combinations of players Marty could use. Mavadidi's injured, Bobby Reed's now injured, so Monga's playing. Fatawi's our best player, so he's playing. In the middle, in the number 10, Aaron Ramsey's probably the only natural number 10, so he's going to play. And then that leaves a striker, Daka, Carranza, Ayew. Pick your poison. I mean, I'd rather Ayew. Sorry, I'm not swearing at you. I'd rather Ayew over them three, because I think Daka's just useless, and Carranza, for me, hasn't shown as much as Ayew has so far. I agree with you, Reese. He's not a striker. Like, he's not. I mean, Marty himself called him a 9.5. But out of all them three, I'd rather Ayew. I'm guessing, I'm rightly so. You want to see more of Carranza, right? Before you decide.
Yes, I do want to see more of Carranza. I'm not going to judge him off one. I'm not going to have a go at him. For coming off the bench. I want to see him starting games. If we see him starting more, let's say 3 or 4 games, and he's not affecting the game, I actually think he done some all right things on Saturday. I thought his link-up play was good. He held onto the ball a little bit too long. But I do think the stuff to build on. I do think there's stuff to build on with Carranza. I think he's the more natural number 9, and that's what we need. We need someone that's going to be a Jamie Vardy-esque, in the box, ready to score. But going back to the Swansea game, and this is another thing for me, relying on world-class goals every so often to get us out of the shit. Fatawi's done on a couple of occasions. Jordan James scored a screamer. There's too many world-class goals. I'm not seeing us carve teams apart too often, if you get what I'm saying. We're relying on bangers from outside the box to get us 3 points. That's my concern. And we've only seen Jordan Ayew score from a striker's perspective. That's worrying. And I think Marty's system needs to be tweaked a little bit to fix that issue. Maybe go 2 up front. Maybe go Daka and Carranza or something, because then you get Daka's pressing and then you get Carranza's hold-up play as well. But I think for me, Jordan Ayew starting, I think has 0 effect personally, because he's not a natural striker or finisher.
Ayew. So would you, if you had to pick between Daka and Ayew, are you picking Daka?
For the way Marty plays, yes, for his pressing contributions.
Interesting.
I'm just trying to think about around the Marty system.
No, I
because
know. I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does require pressing. It does require, hounding, the defense and stuff. But Ayew does press, but he's too slow at it. You need to be bang on it. You need to be bang on the defense every time. I like Aaron Ramsey, very good player, and I think he'll show good qualities being a goal scoring number 10, which is again, I think something we lacked as well. But I just think there's little things that need to be tweaked. Now, if he does tweak them, fair play. But I need to see a different change. I need to see a different dynamic in terms of how we're going to score goals, not relying on Abdul cutting in. Because he's doing it all the time now, Locks. Cutting in, shooting. We need something different in the team.
Yeah, well, I do think since Jordan James has kind of broken into the team, I do think we are just very, very slightly more dynamic in the sense that we now have him centrally who can actually do something, right? Whereas before it was basically Winks and was Skip or Samare, right? Who that's not their game really, getting into the box. And I don't know if you noticed in the Portsmouth game there was a lot of Fatawu and James were linking up a bit how Fatawu and Ndidi did 2 years ago under Enzo. A lot of underlapping from Jordan James, and it just creates another option. I mean, Fatawu, for example, he has created. With regards to his dribbles, 50 more than any other player in the division, which is just ridiculous. I think that's the stat. He's number 1. Monga's number 6. I would agree though that I feel like the wingers get doubled up on, don't they? That's the thing. They get doubled up on, which is then when you need your central players to kind of come into the game a bit. And
we need to take advantage of that.
Enough.
Monga I was at the West Brom game away. Monga had 3 players on him at one time. 3 players. You take advantage of it. Get your players forward. Get Luke Thomas forward. Get Jordan James forward or whoever. That just shows how good these players are. But we're not taking advantage of it. That's the problem for me.
Yeah. No, I hear you, mate. I hear you. Just very quickly, what are your thoughts on BC game?
I think, unfortunately, we live in a world now which the highest bidder, the club will accept. I've heard it's rumoured to be like $40 million or something from what I've read. So if that's the highest bidder, and with the club needing money for PSR, what choice have you got, really? It's not my ideal. I don't really want to see betting companies on my football shirts, but luckily I've got the home top without the sponsor on it, and it looks really nice. So, but no, not for me. But unfortunately, we live in a world now where football's all about money. So it's a bit of a shitty situation.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Yeah. I don't really know why it's such a big deal. Why people? I just look. I love a moan, Reese. I love a moan. But I just feel like people are just. I feel like people are just moaning for the sake of it at this point. To be honest with you, because they've not had something to moan about for the last few weeks, so they just decided to moan about this. We
weren't complaining when we were winning all the time, and we were advertising Chang beer. When we were advertising
more, we've got beer on the sleeves still. We've still got beer on the fucking sleeves.
People weren't complaining about that when we were winning, but I think it's now that we're not doing so well, people are finding little niggle bits to complain at it. Football's all about money, and the quicker people realise that, the better. It's all about money. So
I hear you, mate. I hear you. Right, Reese, thank you for calling up, mate. Much appreciated. Mate. All the best. Pleasure, hopefully we'll see you again next week, mate. All right.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da.
Nice one, Reese. Right, up next, our last 2 callers, Greek Fox in the Box and Ross, those 2. So let's get him on. Actually, just before we get you on, mate, let me read this comment here. I don't think using strikers as subs is a bad thing. Mix it, gives them a different challenge. Oh, not. That's because we are the big dogs of the league. Everyone is up for playing against us, and 9 goals is joint 4th lowest in the league. Yeah, I mean, look, Clibber, you say about papering over the cracks again. The joint 4th lowest in the league. Like, it's not. People are talking as if we're fucking conceding the most goals. I just, again, if we'd scored more goals, I think less people are talking about the goals we've conceded and all of that. But anyway, I do agree, for what it's worth, Ben Nelson deserves another chance. That's for sure. Okay, Greek Fox in the Box. Here he is. What's going on, mate? How are you?
I'm all good, mate. How are you?
Good, mate. Good, mate. Good to see you again. What's going on? How are you feeling after another draw?
I'm not a draw type of person, to be honest. I don't really like draws. Just the main thing for me is like getting the points, because that's the points that matter, really. Like we've got 5 points in 5 draws and 6, and the 6 draws a win. So that takes us to 8 points. I'd much rather win 3 games and lose the rest, honestly, because that gets us to more points.
Yeah, no, I hear you, mate. I think we all know that, you know, five draws is I mean, it's not great, is it? It's not great, but unbeaten, mate. Unbeaten in 8 games. We've not lost, and that's a good habit to be in.
That is a
Not
good,
losing games.
Yeah. We've only lost like once the whole season, so that's really good. But we have to turn the draws into the wins. That's what is needed.
That's it, mate. I think if we were a little bit more clinical, you know, in some of them games, we would have won, right? We would have won them. But I mean, I'm looking at the table, and I mean, only Coventry have lost less games than us. They're unbeaten at the moment, Coventry. Middlesbrough have lost 1 as well, who are in second, and obviously we're here in 4th. Stoke just ahead of us because they've won 5 and drawn 3. But I think, to be honest with you, I think at the moment, mate, we're in a good position to build on from. Right, we're not in a bad spot. So if we can keep improving, we'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, I wouldn't expect us to be like doing actually this good. Not, what's it called? Yeah, I mean it's a good foundation to build upon. The non-betting ones seem to be sketchy bands.
A lot of people predicted us to be a lot lower than this, mate. Like in the opening 10 games.
Like on say 1st of July, if you still told me 10 games in we'd be 4th, I'd have beat your head off. Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty good position to be in, considering the summer went through spending absolutely nothing. So it's pretty good. We just got to build on it, score more goals. Oh yeah, I've got the table here. We've only scored. We've only conceded 2 less than Coventry and Middlesbrough, who've conceded the least this season. But we've scored as much as Wrexham at 18th. Like.
Yeah. We've only scored 14 goals, and for context, Coventry, who are obviously top, have scored 29. So that's a big difference.
I mean positive from there is like we kept a clean sheet against that super team. Honestly,
yeah.
We could have won that game as well.
There's I don't know if this is true, but it seems to me like there seems to be a hell of a lot of draws in the Championship in general this year. Yeah, I worked it out, mate. Let me see if I can get it up now. Let's have a look here. I'm pretty sure that I can't for. Let's have I can't work out. I'm sure it was like 50 something draws, mate. I did count it the other day. There's been 50 something draws in the Championship this season already, which is nuts. And there's I mean, you can see here we've obviously drawn the second most games, 5. But Southampton, of course, who were relegated with us, also they've beaten us. They've got 6. Southampton have drawn 6 games so far and only won 2, but they've only lost 2. They've scored less than us, but they've conceded more than us. So, you know, you look at Southampton and Ipswich, mate, again, who were relegated with us. I know we shouldn't really be comparing ourselves to them, but they've not had a good start at all either.
No. I mean, it's the thought that counts as well. I'm not even sure. We've got overall like a better squad. We've got Betawi, we've got Mavididi, Monga, who've got all that talent. And we've got on the other side Jordan Ayew and me like Jordan Ayew. That's what you said.
Yeah, I who would you rather then in the next game tomorrow? Daka, Ayew, Carranza, if you had to pick.
Here we go. Bold statement here. Hot take. Put Ayew on the left and Kranjca up front, even though I said that he's about as threatening as a pillar in a forest.
Ayew? Play Ayew on the left over Monga?
Nah, I think like Monga, he could come on for like the last 30. The fullback's going to be knackered.
Yeah,
he's going to be knackered. He's ran for like 60 minutes, and Monga's going to be doing all sorts of tricks on him, like winding him up and stuff. Like,
no, I hear you. Yeah, he has been better off the bench this year. He has. Darren says we still have not seen Leicester play a full 90. We are either good in the first half and fade in the second, or start bad and finish well. Don't know if it's a confidence or fitness issue. Jimbo also said during the 25-26 season, 35% of games have ended in draws. There you go. That's crazy stat there from Jimbo. Mate, thank you so much for calling, as always. Hopefully you'll join us next Monday, mate, where we could be second place, maybe. Maybe we're going to be second this time next week. Yeah.
All right.
I think we could, well, technically, we could be first.
Yeah.
We could be first if Coventry lose both games. So you never know. Right, mate, I'll see you soon. All the best. Cheers, mate. Take care. Mate. Okay, we're coming on to our last caller of the night, and it's absolute cinema. It's Rossi LCFC 1993. Here he is. What's going on, mate? You're on mute.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. How are we all doing?
All good, mate. How are you?
Not bad. Just waiting for my double cheeseburger pie. It's cooking at the minute, so yeah, I look forward to that. So I've been listening to everybody. Obviously, everyone's got their own opinions. I'll start off. I'm going to start off with the BC game palaver. Right.
Go on.
So we started to phase away from it around May, June time. Not long after, obviously not long after the season finished, we started to phase away from it. If you remember, there was on the website where all the sponsors were, BC game wasn't there. Then we had no sponsor, and people were moaning. Be careful what you wish for. Everyone, I saw loads of tweets saying, "Oh, this club's a mess, no sponsor," and now we've got one, which I disagree with. By the way, I think why we got rid of it to go back to it. It's like I felt like what it were. We didn't. They were like, "Oh no, do you know what? We'll just have to stick with him." It's like, have you ever watched the film Kes? Do you know where he goes, Casper, I've got to have you? That's kind of like what we've done with BC Game, where we've picked all the other sponsors or whatever, and we go, BC Game, we've got to have you. That's kind of like what it's been. And I've said on your show a lot of times, it's so much better without the sponsor, and I will continue saying it. So much better. But someone rang me.
Ross, I include King Power in that as well. Like, I would prefer the shirt with no sponsor over King Power. I know people like the King Power logo, but I just prefer the spot. I just love the kit this year without a sponsor. Like, I
love it.
Prefer it.
Absolutely love it. And obviously, when it came out, I thought, oh, that's nice. It's like Charlie's got one without, obviously, he can't have a sponsor anyway, because obviously he's only 10. But honestly, it's beautiful. I love it. And obviously, when I do get the new shirt, I'm not going to have a sponsor on it. Don't want it. But I just think it's like one of them where we broke up with someone, we finally had the courage to leave him, and all of a sudden, a couple of episodes later, it's like an episode of Hollyoaks or EastEnders where they literally have gone back to him. And that's what we've done. And I disagree. And you were saying earlier about it's the Sky Bet Championship. So I reckon next season they'll have a new sponsor. Unless someone could correct me on the Google where they've got a sponsor till a certain year or whatever. If they really want to get rid of gambling on the shirts, they'll have to get rid of the Sky Bet Championship. I remember it was the Coca-Cola Championship. That was amazing. If anyone, the old guards that are in the chat, remembers the Coca-Cola Championship. That was awesome. So, but yeah, I disagree with it. End of the day, it's laughable. And the fact that it's not available in the UK is even more laughable. If you're going to get a sponsor,
I've just done a bit of research here. The EFL has extended its title sponsorship deal with Sky Bet by 5 years, which means the partnership now will run until the end of the 28-29 season.
So unless when was that announced?
Well, 5 years before 2029. So
that must have been So that must have been announced, because remember, this thing about the gambling on the shirts must have been announced after. So maybe once that deal's up, because you've got to honour deals, maybe when that deal's up, it'll have a different name, and stuff like that.
But still, when's the rule change happening next season? So
I think it's next season.
So for 3 years, you're going to be able to, for 2 years, you're going to be able to have. You can't have a gambling sponsor as your shirt, but you can have. But the league you're playing in is called Sky Bet. It makes no fucking sense for us.
I think it's because they got to honour the deal. This is what I'm saying. So that's why I've asked you.
So then start the rule then. Start the rule then. The shirt rule.
Maybe. I'm no expert on it. I just thought, what have it been called that, being the Sky Bet Championship. But let's be honest, who calls it? When you're talking to your mates, who go, did you watch the Sky Bet Championship? You just go, oh, did you watch Championship today? Or League One, League Two? Who actually, in their mind, in a conversation, calls it the Sky Bet Championship or Sky Bet League One or League Two?
Yeah, they don't.
End of the day, there's been about 100 different names for the Conference League. The Conference, I've always known it as the Conference. Van Rama, Swabadaba, whatever it's called. It's the Conference League. To me. But anyway, enough about BC game. It's a lot of bollocks. So anyway, obviously my point has been about Vestergaard. Obviously I know Reece don't like him, and he's been one of our best centre backs this season. I don't care what anybody says. I'll argue with anybody. He's been consistent. Yeah, we all make mistakes. Of course we do. I'm not going to deny that. He scored every time he scores. Leicester win. Just saying. And I'd rather have Vestergaard at the back than Nelson at the minute. Okole, his confidence has dropped a lot. Faz, I think he plays better when he comes on. Comes on as like an impact sub.
Yep.
I don't like him starting. Obviously, he gives away penalties. I don't know. He's a proper liar. He's like my mate on a night out. He's a proper liability. Honestly, he really is. He literally like my mate on a night out, proper a liability, and we've got to look after him. But so I'm just going to put my chips in the fryer. But I feel like he gets a lot of stick, Vestergaard, just because he's slow and stuff. End of the day, he knows the Championship well from like the time when we were in it with Enzo. Now, so with Marty football, we've got to trust the process. And do you know what? People saying about too many draws. Why don't you ask Burnley fans the same question? Last season, they only lost 2 games last season, and they drew quite a lot. They still got 100 points, and they kept a lot of clean sheets as well. I think they only conceded.
I've just seen that
10 goals away from home.
They had 16 draws. They had 16 draws and 28 wins.
28 wins. Okay,
and they finished second on 100 points. They only missed out on the title through goal difference.
Yeah. So. Obviously, we're drawing these games. Like David Burnley last season, they were frustrating with draws. They drew a lot of 0-0s and stuff like that. And yeah, sometimes they're frustrating, but I'd rather take a point than not have a point. And tomorrow's game is a really tough game. Hull have won the last few games. So won't be easy. Hopefully, I get to finally see Leicester win at Hull. Hopefully, but. Yeah, I trust Marty process. Obviously, if results don't go away, it's what it is. It's football. But points deduction, we ain't getting one. I said this last year when the first time round, and I'm going to stick by it now. I don't think we'll get one. And if we get one, I'll happily come on the show and say I was wrong. But I don't think we will. End of the day, there's been no news on it. There's no like on Sky Sports News or on Talk Sport or like that. It's not been Leicester about to have an out point deduction. There's been nothing said at all.
Well, we should be finding out soon. What was it? The article a couple of weeks ago was in a few weeks the hearing will begin or something like that. So, yeah, we'll see what comes out of that. I think you're living in dreamland if you think we're not going to get one.
Well, do you know what? Right? Last season, obviously when we first got charged.
Yeah.
I said throughout all my videos on Mr. Whistle's shows, and stuff like that. I said we will not get a point. So everyone was, "Oh, Ross, you're a pleb, or you live in Cuckoo land." And
well,
I
they
was
were
like,
right on that one. They were right on that one.
Well, yeah, I'm an entertaining pleb. But what I'm saying is, as soon as the final got no points deduction, I was like, "Well, who's laughing now, eh?" I said we won't get one from the start.
Were you doing a Nigel Farage? You all laughed at me.
Do you
You're
know, I
not
did a
laughing
meme on
now.
that. On my TikTok, I did a meme. Not me, obviously. I found that video on it. But, just tomorrow's game, very tough game. I think there'll be some changes tomorrow. I felt like in the Portsmouth game, it wasn't Monga's game. Sometimes you look at players, you think, afterwards, you think that wasn't their game. Because there's certain games where, this is the game where they'll turn up or they'll strive. Unfortunately, it wasn't Monga's. Obviously, we can't be down on his neck. He's only 16. Let's not forget, he's still a kid. He's not having a gambling sponsor on his shirt. Jake Evans, by the way, I don't know if anyone's mentioned it, because obviously I'm not watched show up with me.
Yeah.
Jake Evans signed a professional contract. Stick him up front. But put it this way, Yannick Vestergaard has scored more goals than all our strikers put together.
What are we talking about, Ross? You've just said 4 different things in the space of 20 seconds. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore, man.
We've gone from Jake, right, points deduction, we ain't getting one. Jake Evans, he needs to start up front tomorrow. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't think he will, because with the under 21s and that. And Vestergaard has got more goals in the championship than all our strikers put together.
Right,
it shows that there is a problem.
One question, I want one word answer from you. Tomorrow, let's say these are the 3 options. Who are you picking? Daka, Ayu, Carranza? One word.
Julian Carranza. That's
2 words.
That's his name, Julian Carranza.
That's 2 words.
But
that's it, Ross. That's all I needed. Yeah. Ross, that's all I needed.
Nice.
Julian Carranza. Right, mate. Yeah, nice one, man. See you in a bit, Ross. Okay, we have a secret final call. I did say it would be Ross, but it's somebody else. So get ready, everybody. Get ready. We will get points deduction, Ross. You'll be disappointed. Ayu is not a striker. He is a 10. Play Carranza until January and buy another one. Absolute rambling cinema. Hypocrite gambling Leicester fans calling out gambling sponsors. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's an interesting topic, mate. It's super competitive and they need to get their name out. And I don't like Yannick, but he's the best of the worst. There we go. Okay, right, here we go. Our final caller is going to be Kate. What's going on?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
All good. Talk to me. It's just nice to have somebody who's not like 100 miles an hour like Ross.
I know,
Ross.
I'm going to come in at a much slower pace. Try and cover one topic, maybe merge into a second. I just wanted to talk about, I was thinking then when you trust the process is going to be long because we've had so many changes and not enough changes where it matters as well. But similarly for me, like any manager that comes in, whoever it's going to be, there's so many players in our squad that aren't for changing. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that we've got. Like when we start off really well, we seem to start off okay. We had our best first half of the season, I think, obviously excluding the pre-season Fiorentina on Saturday. And then these players just revert back into old habits. And I think that's regardless of manager. I don't think they can change it. I don't think they know how to do that. I don't think Vestergaard knows how to speed up stuff. It's a worry if Jakob doesn't because he's still so young. Winks is really mouldable. JJ is really mouldable. Fatawu is a bit of a free spirit. And we've got some players in there like Ayu, Bobby Reed, Daka, these kind of players, Luke Thomas, VK. They just can't, I don't think they can change what they do. And that's why the process is, a massive part of the process is phasing them out. Phasing them out.
On the back of that then, do you agree then that maybe what people are saying about, why isn't Ben Nelson getting another chance? Why has Okoli not been given another chance? Why are we not seeing even more of the younger, the youngsters? Because I mean, Lewis Page prior to the first international break, he was he was doing pretty well. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad at all. And after the break, he just disappeared. Once Aaron Ramsey had come in, for example, he's not really been given another chance since. So if you want to phase out these dodgy centre backs, why not give Ben Nelson another go?
Because they may just be a poor man's Vestergaard, and you don't want a poor man's Vestergaard.
You'd rather just Vestergaard.
You'd rather just Vestergaard.
No, I hear you. Yeah, no, I'm with you because it was awful. Like Ben Nelson's first, the Huddersfield game, it was terrible.
I don't think it could be all on that. There's clearly some other things going on with Ben, whether it's injury, attitude. I don't know. I'd like to think that Marty is a bigger guy than to phase someone out or keep someone out of the whole squad even just because of a poor 45. I don't think he's that type of guy. But we've recruited, and some of the players that we've recruited are just the same of what we've had in the past. And Marty is perhaps coming in and saying, I don't want that. That's not going to work. So you just have to wait and let time pass. And if you don't engage in that part of the process, it will never get better.
Well, this is what I was saying to Reese, because Reese was like, well, I'd rather see Nelson and a Curly. And I just said, well, yeah, but if we play them and we're bad and we concede 3 goals and lose, you're gonna be fucking fuming. So Marty's, I think for me, Kate, Marty's trying to find a balance between picking a team that is the future of Leicester and picking a team that can actually win a game of football. I think that's where he's trying to find the balance between, which is why you're seeing Monga start games. It's why you're not seeing Oliver Skip. It's why you're not seeing Caleb Okoli, for example, because I just don't think they've not covered themselves in glory. Skip and Okoli this season, even though they're younger and they've been here for a shorter span of time, they're just not very good. They haven't been very good.
They're not a trade-up. And Marty might think there's no point wasting time on people that aren't part of my future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, like that chap said earlier, we've got the 4th best defensive record in the Championship. That's really good. We held Coventry to 0. That's really good. Nobody else has been able to do that. Fass is a massive issue. His good bits outweigh his bad bits, but his bad bits are really bad and often cost us a goal. His individual error tally is massive, but Marty's willing to take that risk on the hope that we can score, but it doesn't always work out like that. But it's the transition for me that Marty needs to work on with this current bunch of players until the next window opens, until you actually have some physical ability to change what you've got in the squad. The transition is where I think we get a bit hurt. We're just not, we defend en masse, but we don't attack en masse. Like, I remember there was a period under Brendan, there was a period under Poole, actually, there was a period under Ranieri where we'd have 6 players in the box comfortably at every attack. And you see Jeff Schlupp in there every single time. Like, you just don't see that from our fullbacks now enough. So when we go forward, you've got Ramsey, the 2 wingers, and the number 9, whoever that's going to be. 4 players, and they've probably got 7 or 8 people back. So by the law of probability, that's going to hit a defender's head or get intercepted, and then it's back as you were, and you're having to rebuild again. The transition through the middle and the ability to attack with numbers is where we need to go. It's a risk. It is a risk, and obviously we got caught on the counter on Saturday, but that's the way to score more goals, I think. And I think
he put the handbrake on after the Preston loss. I think he put the handbrake on a little bit, but I don't think that was a bad idea. I think it was just a bit of stability. I think he just calmed it down a little bit after that Preston loss, because if we'd have continued like that, and you could have had 5 of them draws that we've had. Yes, we could have won. I keep saying we could have won them if we were a bit more clinical or if we created an extra chance. But on the flip side, we could have also lost them as well. And how he set us up. I mean, we've not lost since that Preston game. Since he put the handbrake on, we have not lost a game of football.
No, it's just waiting for the pendulum to swing. Whereas last year in the Premier League, I know it's a very different opposition, but we were conceding, you'd say comfortably 2+, if not 3+, right? With very little coming back. Whereas now I always think Leicester still need 2 goals. That's the bit he still needs to work on. I always feel Leicester still need at least 2 goals, but I don't think we're conceding 2. It's 2 goals for the win, not 2 goals for the draw, which was last year. So I think that's just a gradual turn of things. And it doesn't matter who your opposition is. It's getting the team on board with how you want to play and getting their confidence up. And they need just a little bit of momentum, a little bit of the rub of the green. Players are bringing their A game to Leicester. You see it every single time. Like the commentator will say, or the match write-up afterwards will be like, well, Portsmouth played out their skin. Yeah, because they're playing us. It's a free hit. We are everyone's free hit. And the pressure and frustration that comes with a team like Leicester is massive.
Yeah, I totally agree. Let me end it with this. Have you got anything you want to say about the BC game situation at Leicester? Anything on your mind about that?
Not really. I'm quite indifferent on it. I would just say that there is no way on this planet that if you owned your own football club, let's say you're playing Football Manager, which I've heard you like to play.
It's coming out in a few days. Yeah.
And you could have BTG sponsoring the shirt, but a match betting company came along and said, in order to stay afloat and give BTG the best future that it can, we're going to give you 20 million quid more to sponsor your shirt. What are you doing? It's not
taking
right.
the money and running.
Feel right, but football isn't about being ethical or moral. You had Embassy World Championship snooker. We've had all the stuff in the Formula One. Like it's horrible. But every single football fan out there who's probably criticising this has probably had a bet in their life, and it's probably not through BC Games. So it's changing. The sponsorship's changing. But look, whilst we're in the predicament we're in, I would love a charity on there. I'd love that to happen, for clubs to raise money for local charities and put charities on the front.
Well, we used to have Loros, didn't we? We used to have Loros.
Yeah, and it's Cancer Awareness Month this month. They could do stuff like that. But it doesn't get you out of PSR, does it? If you could have some kind of, not tax break, it's not the right word, but some kind of reward from a PSR perspective by putting a non-profit on your shirt, loads of teams would do it.
Yeah, and now they're gonna ban them. So rather than gambling, it will be like dodgy crypto companies and there'll still be dodgy companies because the dodgy companies pay the most. Like it is, you know what I mean? So
and like you said yesterday, I saw yesterday's show. Like the Sky Bet sponsoring the championship it's just laughable. It's do as I say and not as I do. And the reason why people lose their lives to gambling isn't really because of BC Game. It's normally because of how it's structured and the apps. The apps is why gambling addiction is so high, because it's so easy. You don't have to get off your arse and go to the betting shop anymore.
And you can't even access BC Game in the UK. You can't even access BC Game.
And the argument about it not being a UK company or whatever, that doesn't matter. Betfair's a legal UK company. What does that mean? It doesn't make any difference. If they're allowed to trade and it's not against the rules, I won't use the word legal because I don't know the side of it. But it's not against the rules. Then they're offering big dollar for a one-hit wonder of a season now, because they'll be done after this season. And then you're stupid to not take it. But there's nothing more heartbreaking for Top, I would have thought, than knowing that what should happen, in my opinion, with the rules. If BC Game are offering 30 million quid and you can prove that offer is on the table with a letter or a formal contract offer, then King Power should be allowed to do the same, even though it's a connected party and it's fair. Because you can prove that it's market rate.
Maybe they don't have it.
But if they did, you know what I mean?
Yeah. If they did.
But there's no way Top would want to withdraw his own sponsorship from his own football club if he didn't.
What I was going to say as well is something I just found out with Ross after a bit of research. The EFL have extended their title sponsorship deal with Sky Bet until the 2028-2029 season. But the rules banning gambling sponsors on shirts comes into effect next season. So effectively, for 2 seasons, you're not allowed to wear a gambling sponsor in a league named the Sky Bet Champ. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. It makes no sense.
Like that. It's absolutely so. It's ludicrous. The only way to get round it is for these teams to do class actions. But for whatever reason, they won't. For the same reason, I don't know why they vote for PSR. Like, these teams need to speak up and do a class action and speak for the fans and the game's integrity. But instead, people just sort of eye roll it and brush it under the carpet, and that's why, you know, people don't get heard about the problems with gambling and other things. Like, we've got beer sponsorship on the sleeve. There's loads of vices out there. But also, football provides a lot of joy. You know, it provides an escape. It perhaps saves people from suicide, or you don't know, do you? You don't know. Football can have its good parts and its bad parts.
Yeah, and again, like the players on the pitch wearing BC Game or not wearing BC Game, but literally 10 meters from them is a Sky Bet logo. You know, they just, to me, makes no sense. But anyway, anyway, we'll leave it there. Right. Thanks, Kate, for joining me last minute to end the show. Very much appreciated. We will be back live tomorrow for the watch along, 7:45 kickoff. So I think we're going to start early because we're going to do a little mini analysis. So we'll be live from 7:15. However, there is a match preview out on the channel right now that me and Luke did earlier on today. So we did a preview for the whole game. So you can go and check that out right now. But if not, we will see you tomorrow night. Cheers again, Kate. Cheers to everybody else who called. And thanks to everybody in the chat. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to hit subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Big shout out to our new sponsor, The Beautiful Frame. They have absolutely smashed it with this Jamie Vardy piece. They're a local Leicester business as well, which makes it even better. And not just Leicester, they do prints for other clubs too. Honestly, perfect if you're stuck for a birthday or Christmas present. The best bit, they've sorted Blue Tinted Glasses followers with a discount. Just use the code BTG12 at checkout for money off. Grab yours now at thebeautifulframe.com. The link is in the description of the video.